Hello, friends. Welcome to my webinar. I'm going to share the screen. Really excited to share a few things about personal branding. And I know it's kind of a buzzword right now, or buzzwords right now. Maybe you've considered the possibility of creating a personal brand. Maybe you already have a personal brand. I'm hoping that I can share something today that will either help you get started as you think about creating a personal brand, or help you elevate your existing personal brand and start infusing even more of who you are into what you do. And that's really what this short webinar is all about. It's about finding that balance of who you are and what you do. And we're going to talk a little bit about finding well, we're going to talk a little bit about a lot of things. So let me get into my little slideshow show and tell here. First, I'll introduce myself and share a little bit about who I think I am to be able to share this information with you, and hopefully be able to impart some knowledge or insight that might help you. I have been a creative professional for well over 2 decades now. I've been creating brands for mostly big corporations, and then in 2015 I left my last corporate job to start helping regular people make and build their own ideas. And I've helped a lot of people create websites. I've helped a lot of people create logos and brand identities for their work and for themselves. And I'm still doing that. And I also now teach at my local community college, which really sort of resparked this joy for sharing my own knowledge, things that I have learned over my long career as a creative professional. And so now I'm really on this same journey of infusing more of who I am into what I do, because I truly believe that our value goes beyond what we can produce, even as creative people or as helpers, healers, artists. These are the voices I feel like the world wants and needs more of right now. And the more you can be yourself when you're sharing your gifts and package that in this sort of infused brand. And our language is sort of limited in terms of how we talk about these things. So I do still have sort of like this old corporate speak that bleeds into, my new direction of work, which is really more heart based and really speaking from the heart. So there's some corporate speak and there's some heart speak. And I think both have value. So yeah, that's for me. My own personal brand is about bringing all of these labels together and finding the value in all of these things. And this is what I'm infusing into this work right now, is um, hopefully a more holistic picture of me and what I have to offer in terms of my own creative gifts and skills and talents. All of those things that I hope to share and that will bring value to you and your work. So these are just, a few of my labels that I am feeling called to share, especially in the context of this work. But I'm constantly changing these labels. I'm constantly adding to my labels, and because I am, a lifelong learner, um, my labels are constantly changing and evolving, just like me, and just like my work. So, as far as the point, why are we even here? Why do I feel like this is the information that I want to share? There are a lot of graphic designers in the world who are sharing the hows and the technical tutorials for how to create a logo, how to use Photoshop. And maybe I'll do some of those courses too, but there's a lot of that out there. And a lot of my journey has been figuring out what can only I share? How can I create something that is unique to my perspective, my unique perspective? And I feel like this course is as close as I've been able to get to that. I do want to talk about some of the technical stuff, um, but I also want to talk about, you know, the whys of creating some of the things that we create. in today's expanding digital world, it is more important than ever, I think, I feel, I believe, to have a personal brand that reflects this sort of combination of who you are and what you do. And I feel like that is like the magic you know, in recipe for setting you apart, you and your work apart from others, especially those of us who do work that's similar. As a graphic designer, as a photographer, there are a million graphic designers and photographers, and even in my small area of East Texas, there are a ton of graphic designers and photographers. And so, as far as the value that I'm creating, it's really become more about the more of that I can put in who I am into what I do, it just sets me apart from other people who are doing other things. And not everyone will want to work with me, and that is fine. And that is a journey in and of itself, getting to that point of recognizing that the gifts that I have to offer may not be for everyone. But I think sharing your personal brand, developing and building and crafting your personal brand is about authentically connecting with the right people. And I think it's especially helpful for heart-based entrepreneurs and artists, because it can help attract the right people and the right opportunities to you and your work. That looks like working. So today I'm going to help, hopefully help you start unlocking your unique voice, your unique identity that will help you differentiate yourself and help your work stand out, because it's not about being better than. It's not this. I feel like today's marketplace is not competitive the way that like I grew up thinking about like competing against, the competitors in the marketplace. But I think it is about differentiating yourself and standing out from people who are doing similar work, and not necessarily thinking of them as competitors. There's just people who are doing similar work, and they're going to be offering something that is going to be a perfect fit for someone that maybe is not you. But your work is going to be expressed and shared in a way that is going to be perfect for someone else. So I think honing our personal brand is about finding that balance of how much do we share of who we are and how much do we share of what we do, that will resonate with our right people. So in this short webinar, we're going to talk about finding your brand voice, building your brand identity, and in large part, I mean your visual identity, things like your logo, your website, all of those visual parts of your identity. But we're going to start with the brand voice, which I feel like it helps to create to hone in on your brand voice before getting into building a visual identity. And then we'll wrap it up at the end, and I'll share a few of the other things that I am creating and sharing, um, with my right tribe of people. Which, if you're here, I'm hoping that is you. Um, so first, I want to talk just a little bit about what is a personal brand, and sort of helping explain what a personal brand is. When you set out to create a brand, I think you may have a vision, but it is a process of building these things and crafting them over time. And um, the process of building a personal brand, especially a personal brand that has a distinct voice and identity and vibe, which feels authentic to the people that you're sharing your ideas with, um, because they are based in your unique experiences, your unique strengths, your unique style and authentic personality. It takes some time to sort of cultivate and craft and create that. It doesn't, it's not this instant 1, 2, 3 process. Sometimes it is sort of the cyclical process of refinement over time. Your brand is how you present both who you are and what you do to the world, both online and offline, and it represents how others might perceive you and the experience of working with you. So it's not just about who you are and what you do, but it's also sort of this story about the experience of working with you, so that other people can kind of get a feel for that before they commit to whatever it is, whatever offering that you're putting out there. And of course, having a personal brand can also help you stand out and build credibility, and especially attract opportunities that align with your unique goals and values, because our personal brand is about creating these connection points that other people can like tap into and connect with our work. Sometimes through us, who we are as people, and sometimes what we do. Um, but I think people decide who they want to work with professionally based on who the person is, or um, who the brand is, who the business is. And especially now as we have all these many options, uh, global marketplace that the internet offers us, we can really choose to work with people that are aligned with our own personal goals and values much more easily. Um, and of course, your personal brand gives you a platform so you can create your own narrative about the ideas and your expertise, your unique experiences that others might associate with your work. You can bring them together and create the story that you want to tell about your work. And that's what a personal brand gives you. It is this sort of platform from where you can craft this unique narrative that will hopefully stand out and set you apart from others. So we're going to start with talking about your unique voice, which I feel like is the first ingredient as we're starting to build a personal brand that will resonate with our right people. Your personal brand's voice, it's the unique personality and tone of communication that you use to engage with your tribe of people. So this includes your choice of words, your language, and the overall style of writing or speaking on behalf of your brand. Um, I think when we make these choices about the language that we use, well, one, we can create this consistent set of vocabulary, and we can create a recognizable personality. Um, and this authentic brand voice is also going to resonate with your tribe of people when you're using language and words that connect with people that you want to work with, people who want to work with you. If, it helps when you're speaking the same language, right? It can also help you create emotional connections, and it will obviously help you build trust. And definitely, it will help you differentiate yourself from others who are doing similar work or similar offers. So it's important that the voice of your brand resonates with your tribe of people. And if it resonates in you, you feel it in your heart when you speak it, for me, sometimes it does help for me to physically, literally speak out loud before I ever start trying to write things. And, or if I am trying to write a page for my website or creating some sort of email correspondence, if I handwrite it first, like however I can minimize the distance between the actual language that is coming out of me and how it's being expressed, the quickest way is directly out of my mouth. If I can capture that in some sort of recording, I think that is the truest, most pure way of capturing what's coming from my heart. But the next most accurate way, I think, of capturing what's coming truly from our heart is from our hand, from our actual handwriting. It can come through our head to our heart, to our hand, uh, and it will maintain its more true, most true form, I think. When we move to something digital, when we move to typing, um, or even on our phones, it adds a step, I think, and it dilutes it a bit. So, especially for first drafts, I think if we can capture it in its most pure form, and from there we can start editing and using technology. I even use technology to capture my voice. I record myself all the time. It's a great tool. But it's about helping you capture this language that is true to you. And your voice is going to help you eventually build this visual identity. And both of these things together are going to work together to connect and speak directly to other people's heads and hearts. Um, so the first step is really about capturing that voice that is true to you. Here are a few ideas to get you started on capturing your unique voice for your brand. Um, Human design, we're going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about each of these in their own slides. Human design has been a very helpful tool for me in exploring my own innate strengths and patterns for work. I also love the Japanese concept of ikigai, which we're going to talk about, share what that is. And then, of course, your own personal story, your own unique life experiences. That helps you create things that can only come from you. we'll start with human design. Okay, so the first of these amazing tools for helping you start conceptualizing, start brainstorming around your and start crafting your brand's, your personal brand's unique voice that has been invaluable to me in connecting with my own authentic voice has been human design. And it's a great tool for exploring your innate strengths and patterns for working. It can um, help you understand um, and gain insight into your natural ways of working and operating in the world. And it will help you start to have some language to describe yourself and to describe your work and as you get language that's more accurate to who you really are and you can express your work using this language, it will be more aligned with the right people and the right opportunities. And human design is a great tool for just giving you language and understanding um, on a more multidimensional uh, way of looking at your work. So this is my chart. Um, Another similar tool, I mean, let me go back. In addition to human design is sort of this amalgamation of many different modalities. And along with human design, there are things like Enneagram and Myers Briggs that any sort of self assessment tool, those are all super valuable to just give you language and understanding it. And again, from a multidimensional, and it's not one or the other, it's about, I think, putting them all together and looking at yourself and your innate patterns and habits and ways of working in a more holistic way. And human design for me has been a great tool for that. Gene Keys also, which is sort of a bookend to human design. A lot of people start with human design and then go to Gene Keys. A lot of people start with Gene Keys and then go to human design. Um, but again, I also like pairing Enneagram and Myers Briggs and even astrology because I think it's all about giving you language and perspective and just a way of describing your own unique ways of working and patterns. Um, Another really important tool for me has been ikigai. It's this concept. It's a Japanese concept that refers to this intersection. It's like this hyper Venn diagram. It's this intersection of your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession. So the questions that might help you ask yourself, what do you love to do? What are you good at? What does the world need? And what can you get paid for? And at the heart of all of those intersections uh, is this beautiful word, ikigai, which is sort of like where all of those things come together. And you can start teasing out by asking yourself these questions. I think inquiry is an amazing tool asking yourself questions that will help guide you towards your own truth, your own inner compass. You can use questions to find your way. And Ikigai is a great tool for sort of honing in on the type of work that really would fulfill you. Um, and of course, your own personal story. That is the heart of your uniqueness because no one has your experiences. No one has um, your background. Your unique personal story is unique to you. And if you can infuse that into the work that you're doing, um, there will be no one else who can do what you do. What challenges? Here are some questions. More inquiry. More questions you can ask yourself to help you sort of tease out those key components of your personal story, your personal experience that might help you uh, find unique ingredients to infuse into your work. What challenges have you overcome? What are your core values? Ikigai can help with that. Design can help with that. What inspires you? What moves you to action? What makes you, and a lot of times, what moves you to action are the things that you answer in the next question. What makes you mad? What makes you sad? What makes you glad? The things that make me mad sometimes really move me to take action, but also the things that really make me glad move me to action. Where have you been in this life? Where have you worked? What have you learned? What can you teach? How might you help others who are on a similar path? By understanding your own story, you can start to develop a voice that is authentic and meaningful and one that will resonate with your right people. I think this may be the most important ingredient of all. And there are plenty of tools out there, but these are some of the ones that have really helped me, or some of the questions and the inquiry that piece has helped me tease out and really find my way in building a brand that feels true to me and hopefully resonates with people who are on similar paths. Once you have sort of some vocabulary, some language to describe who you are and where you've been and what you have experienced and learned in the world, you can then start crafting your unique identity for your brand. And we create visual identities to sort of encompass the identity of the brand. To the logo is the most important, arguably most important visual piece of our identity. Um, and sometimes it's the most overwhelming step is building a logo that we feel represents our work or who we are and what we do in a way that feels true. Your brand's visual identity is made up of a lot of design elements that represent who you are and what you do. It includes your logo, but it also includes the colors you use and the typography you use, the imagery you use, and your overall aesthetic choices for your brand identity. It's a visual way of communicating your brand's personality. So everything we talked about in the brand's voice has to be visually communicated on a website or on social media. This visual way of communicating your brand's personality, values, the characteristics and style, all of that to your tribe of people. Um, and a strong, authentic visual identity is also going to help you establish brand recognition, especially when it's consistent. And we'll talk a little bit about more about consistency and branding, and that is going to differentiate your work. If it feels like you, then it can't feel like someone else. Here are some ideas for where you might start thinking about your brand's visual identity. Um, Before you dive into creating the visuals for your identity, first, go back to the language, go back to the vocabulary. Make a list of words and adjectives or short descriptive phrases that describe your brand's personality and how your work might be perceived by others. Because again, this is our opportunity to create a narrative, to create our own story around our work. And that first step of um, owning your brand's visual, I mean, your brand's voice can help guide your choices while you're creating a visual identity and help you make sure that the personality of your brand's imagery aligns with your brand voice, because you want your brand's voice and your brand's visuals to feel like they go together, right? And they will if they're authentic and if they're coming from the heart of you. Um, so I like to start with a mood board. Like when I'm starting visually and I'm just trying to capture the mood, the feel, the general vibe for a brand, create a mood board. Just create a collage of images and colors and textures that sort of capture the look and feel that you envision for your brand. You can use tools like Pinterest or Canva to capture your brand's personality and your visual aesthetic. Sometimes I just take screenshots and then collect them into a folder, but then you want to like take everything in that folder and lay them out so you can see them. And then you can start visualizing your brand, literally visualizing your brand. And then you can start identifying patterns and themes that pop up more than once. If you notice you're using a lot of blue or a lot of greens, then maybe that is like the color. Maybe if you're using textures that, if you're drawn to watercolor, if you're drawn to like bright neon colors or soft pastels, all of these patterns or themes are going to inform the identity and personality for your brand. But if you can just create a folder, like just dump in all of the ideas, just brainstorm quickly things that you're drawn to, and then lay them out onto some sort of blank canvas. It doesn't have to be a digital canvas, it could be a physical canvas. You can go through magazines and do the exact same thing. It's just really about starting to start to visualize uh, the colors and patterns and just the general vibe that you're drawn to for your brand. From there, you can start adding in fonts and colors because these things are also going to inform your brand's identity. Choose a color palette and a font or two. Color and typography are two of the most important visual elements in your brand identity. Choose colors that reflect your brand's personality and use them consistently across all your marketing channels. So once you kind of decide on a color scheme or a palette that suits your brand identity, that feels like it's it captures the essence of this work, then you want to use it consistently. Use the same color. Use it on Facebook. Use it on Instagram. Use it on your website. Use it on YouTube. People will start to recognize your patterns in your visual identity. I also like to recommend choosing fonts that are easy to read and a lot of times I like using fonts that you might have multiple weights, like lightweight, a regular weight, and a bold weight, and also that you have italics. So maybe I want one font that is sort of a display font that I would use for headlines, and then one that I would use for tight text where I could use different weights and variations of that font to help me express my brand's voice because different fonts express your voice in different ways. So there are designers who spend a lot of time on typography and how type and font choices inform the voice of your brand. Different fonts feel different. They have different personalities, same as colors. So if you have a really peaceful, relaxing spa or a massage therapy business, maybe you don't want to use colors like orange or red that are sort of like they just don't fit the vibe of sort of a relaxing, peaceful. Maybe you're using blues and greens. So it is important about finding, those right color combinations and the fonts that speak to the voice of your brand. And that's why I feel like it's important for you to start with the voice itself. So going into these choices, your voice will inform these choices because you're coming from a place of wanting to find fonts and colors that fit the personality of your voice of your brand. Your brand's visual identity is going to help you create a consistent look and feel across your online platforms and your channels, from your website to your social media accounts. And by using a consistent color palette, consistent fonts, consistent visual style, you're going to make your brand even more memorable and recognizable because people will see you everywhere and be able to recognize that looks like you, looks like your work. Consistency in branding creates a sense also of professionalism. When you can be consistent and people do recognize you, um, it's going. I mean, there's a reason why corporations spend a lot of money to create a brand for that sense of consistency, because it also helps establish trust amongst your right people. But this is also this opportunity to create a visual brand identity, a visual personal brand identity can also help you showcase your unique personality and your creativity because this is a chance for you to really express yourself. Because a personal brand is also about your personal self-expression. It's not just about the products or the services or the offers that you're selling to the world. It's also about infusing your own self-expression into your work. Uh, and it's going to make your brand more visually appealing and engaging to your right tribe because they're going to feel you in your work. So you can get creative and experiment with different visual elements um, and play around with it while you're building your brand, your identity for your brand. Because it's again, this is a cyclical process. It's not this. It's not necessarily going to happen overnight, and it will evolve over time. So, but hopefully, it will be a fun and rewarding way to express yourself and make your unique mark on your brand and create something that only could come from you. I'll share later about another upcoming course that I have. It's called Making Marks. It's about infusing your personal brand with your actual handwriting. Because again, uh, I feel like that is as close as we can get when an idea comes from our head to our heart and out our hand is through our actual handwriting, and we can infuse that energy into our personal brand, which will just add a layer of you into the work that you're sharing with the world. And of course, having a unique visual identity can help your work stand out and resonate with the right tribe of people and your right opportunities. All of these things come together to help you connect with the right people for you and your work. I'm going to share an example. Marie Forleo is an amazing example of someone who has built a personal brand that resonates with her right tribe of people. It's centered around her personal mission to help people create a life and business they love while staying true to who they are. Marie's unique voice and personality comes through in everything she does, from her energetic and engaging videos to her bold branding. Her visual identity is consistent across all platforms, and it's easily recognizable. It sometimes, includes some handwritten aspect to her type. Um, she features large, playful graphics and a message focused on empowerment and positivity. Through her personal brand, Marie has created a loyal community who resonate with her message and connect to her work on a deep human level. And I think that is the power of personal branding. I'm going to show another example here shortly. I'm going to stop this share. I'm going to show another example and then I'll pop back over.
I do everything rooted in tab. I don't just put my name on anything. Like I named my hair Donna in 2018, right? And so everybody, listen, people know my hair before they know me. They be like, I thought that was you because I saw Donna. If I have a hair care line, it's only going to be Donna's Recipe, right? If I have a clothing line, it's going to be bright and it's going to look like me. People be like, I saw that and was like, I know this tab. If I do it, it's rooted in every part of who I am. I ain't gonna just do it just to do it. Like the money gonna come. But if I'm staying true to who I am, I ain't gotta worry about like, oh, I'm not doing it well. Because I know when I put my heart and my mind into it, passion. I was putting me into it. Yeah.
Okay. What? I cannot, that I could wrap that, this whole course, come back. I mean, I could just play that one clip and that would wrap up this whole webinar. Like that is a personal branding expert. These are personal branding experts. Great examples. All right. We're going to wrap it up. I hope there's been some value in here. I hope it sparked some new ideas for you. Here are some key takeaways. If you take away nothing else from this webinar, think about your brand voice is your unique way of expressing yourself and your work. And it's key to creating a memorable and engaging brand identity that resonates with your tribe of people. Your voice comes first. And then from there, you can build a visual identity for your personal brand that will allow you to create a consistent look and feel across all your platforms and channels and express your unique personality, perspective, and creativity through your brand visually. Building an authentic personal brand that reflects your unique voice, your unique values, your unique vibe will help you establish will help establish you as a leader in your field and attract the right people and opportunities to your work. It seems so simple, but it is this process of just discovering yourself and discovering which parts of yourself you're going to put into your work that will create something unique that could only come from you. Um, and that's really what it's all about, is creating something that is so uniquely you that it could only come from you. And yeah, I mean, it is a process of discovery, of self discovery and professional discovery. And yeah, just be patient with yourself, but hopefully have fun and approach it with curiosity and creativity. And I'm going to share just a few creative resources, a few of my favorite creative resources. Uh, Canva, a lot of you already probably use Canva. It's an amazing graphic design platform and it offers easy to use templates. They're all customizable. It gives you a range of design tools to create visuals for your brand. I use Adobe products. Adobe has a similar product called Adobe Express. tons of tools or tons of free tools out there. Uh, just start with somewhere. Start with what you have, and your brand can evolve in time. Your identity, your visual identity, can evolve in time. You can, you know, elevate it uh, over time, but just start somewhere. It's important to start with something, and then you can water it and grow it, and it will change into something bigger and better over time. Creative Live is an amazing learning platform if you want to learn more tools, more techniques. It offers a wide range of courses and workshops on topics related to branding, design, marketing, and entrepreneurship. It's a great resource for learning from professionals who are actually working um, and creating at a high level. And I highly recommend learning anywhere you can. Um, but these are some of my own sources for learning. The Brand Gap by Marty Neumeyer is a great book that offers a simple and practical framework for building a successful brand, including how to define your brand's values, personality, and visual identity. I like learning from multiple sources too, who are teaching similar things and learning different ways of looking at the same ideas and concepts. Human design, I've already talked about, an amazing system. It combines astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, chakra system, quantum physics to help you discover your unique talents, strengths, and purpose. Pair that with gene keys, pair that with Enneagram, pair that with Myers Briggs, and you can really start putting together a more comprehensive, holistic set of vocabulary and patterns and understanding about yourself and how you work. And then, if you layer in this Japanese concept of ikigai that combines the four elements of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, and that can help you find your purpose or help you create your own meaningful career. Instead of looking outside for a career that exists, it might help you create your own. I'll also share a few of my own things that I've created. I created a small uh, zine called Kickstart Your Heart. It's really about finding inspiration and things that I go to help me kickstart my own heart to find inspiration or new ideas. So if you don't have any idea where to start, start here. If you already have an idea and you're just looking for practical next steps for building a business and you just need to know how to start building a business, I co-wrote this small startup guide with my buddy Joel Shakespeare, who's also an amazing designer and marketer. You can download both of these for free on my website. Uh, and I'm also teaching now personal design lessons in human design and graphic design. If you're interested in diving deeper and learning more in depth on any of these design tools. Yeah, so thank you for joining me for this short webinar. I hope there's been something helpful, hopefully something that sparked some new ideas or at least helped you see something in a new way to maybe start building the brand of you. I think the more brands, the more stories that are being told from the heart, the more we can create something new, something better. Yeah, and I'm excited to see what you create. And yeah, thanks for being here. More soon. Much love. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not stopping yet. Coming soon, the brand of you. I'll be sharing more mini workshops. My very first mini workshop for the brand of you is going to be about making marks, how to use your own writing to make a unique mark on your personal brand. If you want to learn how to use your own handwriting to infuse more of the energy of you, the uniqueness of you into the brand that you're building, I'm going to be sharing this mini workshop every Tuesday through the end of the summer. I think it's probably not going to be 2 hours. I think it's probably just going to be 90 minutes. But I will offer it every Tuesday. And right now at the low price of $22. And it will be a live workshop. So we'll be actually working live. It will be an interactive, hopefully fun, creative workshop, dedicated time to create and play and express yourself. And hopefully create something that you can use as you're creating your own visual brand. So I'll be excited to share more of the brand of you and yeah, the brand of me. So more soon. Much love.